In this video, we're diving into 10 vanished towns of the United States that history forgot. These are places where life once flourished, only to be consumed by fire, disease, or forces beyond human control. A few left behind mysteries that still haunt us today. Centralia, Pennsylvania. Back in 1962, a fire accidentally ignited in the coal mines beneath the town. What should have been a small blaze turned into an unstoppable inferno. Roads buckled as flames ate away at the ground beneath. Smoke seeped up through cracks in sidewalks, releasing toxic gases that poisoned the air. Centralia had over 1,000 residents, schools, churches, and shops. But as the fire spread, the government ordered evacuations. By the 1980s, homes were demolished, streets ripped apart, and only a handful of stubborn residents remained. Today, just a few houses stand against an empty landscape. Cahawba, Alabama. Cahawba was once the pride of Alabama. In 1819, it became the state's first capital, a riverfront city full of mansions, churches, and busy streets. Its location at the meeting of two rivers made it a hub for trade. And for a brief time, Cahawba was considered the heart of Southern progress. But beauty often hides danger. The rivers that gave Cahawba life brought destruction. Flooding was constant, leaving residents in fear. Worse still, deadly outbreaks of yellow fever swept through, killing many and driving others away. By the mid-1800s, the once glorious capital had been abandoned. Today, the ruins of Cahawba are a ghostly reminder of what once was. Old cemeteries sit beneath moss-covered trees, broken bricks peek through the soil, and ghost hunters swear the place is alive with whispers of the past. Cahawba may have lost its title as capital, but it gained a darker one, Alabama's most haunted town. Kennicott, Alaska. Deep in Alaska's Wrangell Mountains lies a frozen snapshot of another time, the mining town of Kennicott. In the early 1900s, copper was discovered in the mountains, and with it came fortune seekers from across the nation. The town grew rapidly, with hospitals, schools, a recreation hall, and even an ice rink. But prosperity didn't last. By 1938, the copper was depleted. Families abandoned their homes, leaving furniture and even hospital equipment behind. Walking through Kennicott today feels very strange. Some say Kennicott is haunted by the restless souls of miners who never left. Whether that's true or not, Kennicott stands as a reminder of how quickly fortune can vanish in the unforgiving wilderness of Alaska. Bodie, California. If there's a ghost town that truly feels haunted, it's Bodie. Once home to nearly 10,000 people during the California Gold Rush, Bodie was the epitome of a Wild West boomtown. Saloons lined the streets, gamblers and outlaws fought deadly duels, and fortunes were made and lost in the blink of an eye. But like most gold towns, Bodie's wealth ran out. By the early 20th century, the population dwindled to nothing. What makes Bodie different is how well it has been preserved. Wooden houses stand with tables still set, shops hold merchandise on their shelves, and schools look ready for students who will never return. Visitors claim strange things happen here. Lights flicker in abandoned homes, voices echo in the wind, and ghostly figures are said to walk the streets. Glenrio, Texas, straddling the border between Texas and New Mexico. Glenrio once thrived on the famous Route 66. For decades, travelers stopped at its motels, diners, and gas stations. The neon lights glowed bright, and Glenrio lived off the steady hum of the American road trip. When Interstate 40 bypassed Glenrio in the 1970s, the lifeline was cut. Businesses shuttered, neon signs went dark, and silence replaced the roar of engines. Today, Glenrio is a skeleton of its past. Faded signs still hang, and the empty shells of diners wait for customers who will never come. Driving through, it feels like you've entered a forgotten movie set, suspended in time, yet eerily alive with memories of the golden days of Route 66. Times Beach, Missouri. Times Beach had a simple beginning, a small town near St. Louis. Lua, built in the 1920s as a resort community. Families moved in, kids played in the streets, and for decades, life was peaceful. But in the 1970s, disaster struck in a way no one expected. To control dust on the unpaved roads, a contractor sprayed the soil with oil. What no one realized was that the oil was contaminated with dioxin, a highly toxic chemical linked to cancer and birth defects. Slowly, the residents began to suffer mysterious illnesses. When the truth came out in the early 1980s, panic spread. The government ordered a complete evacuation, and the entire town was bulldozed to the ground. Today, Times Beach no longer exists. In its place stands Route 66 State Park, a green, peaceful space that hides one of America's worst chemical disasters beneath its soil. Aurora, Nevada. Aurora was once the jewel of Nevada's mining boom in the 1860s. It had over 10,000 active residents. The gold and silver flowing from its mines brought incredible wealth, but also incredible violence. Aurora quickly became infamous for its lawlessness. Shootouts were common, and blood often stained its dusty streets. As the mines ran dry, the lawlessness outlived the prosperity. People left, businesses closed, and by the early 1900s, Aurora was a ghost town. Today, all that remains are the crumbling stone foundations and the whispers of its violent past. Castle Dome, Arizona. Castle Dome began as a silver mining camp in the mid-1800s, located in the harsh Arizona desert. Unlike most ghost towns, Castle Dome has been partially preserved. Many of its buildings have been restored into a museum town, allowing visitors to step directly into the past. Walking through Castle Dome feels like entering a time machine. Various buildings still stand, the church still holds its pews, and the general store looks stocked and ready for customers. Though Castle Dome now survives as a historical site, it remains a ghost of itself. Elvira, Pennsylvania. During World War II, the tiny town of Elvira was sacrificed for the war effort. In 1942, the U.S. government seized the land to build a munitions plant. Families were forced to leave their homes with little notice. Entire neighborhoods were demolished, and in their place, rows of concrete bunkers were built to store explosives. When the war ended, the bunkers were abandoned, and the land was left to decay. Today, the trees have grown through old foundations, vines creep over the concrete bunkers, and the sounds of daily life have been replaced by birdsong and silence. Elvira is a reminder of how quickly lives can be uprooted in the name of war, and how entire communities can vanish overnight. Dogtown, Massachusetts. Dogtown is one of America's oldest ghost towns, dating back to the 1600s. Once a thriving settlement, it was abandoned by the early 1800s after poverty and brutal winters drove residents away. But the story doesn't end there. Legends grew around the abandoned homes. Locals whispered of witches living in the woods, and strange carved stones began to appear, etched with cryptic messages and warnings. Even today, hikers find them scattered among the ruins. Dogtown has become a place where history and legend collide. The silence of its forests is unsettling, and many claim to feel watched as they wander through. It's not just a vanished town, it's a lingering mystery carved into the New England landscape. From coal fires that never stop burning to towns sacrificed for war. From gold rush boom towns to settlements washed away by floods and disease. These places remind us of the vanished towns that history forgot. A thriving community can vanish in a single generation, leaving only broken foundations, forgotten graves, and unanswered questions. Yet in their silence, these towns speak. They live on in local legend, in whispers of curses, and in the eerie ruins that still stand as monuments to the people who once called them home. So, which of these vanished towns do you think hides the darkest untold story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love uncovering mysteries history tried to erase, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more forgotten stories from the past.